Hello friends, welcome to day 3 of the 2017 CorkEnvy Adult Advent Calendar. Let's get right to the box and see what we have today. And we pull out, oh look, it is the Ribs' favorite, Blanton's Bourbon. Now, bourbon, I get a lot of questions about bourbon because people who know me know I actually drink a good amount of bourbon, not just wine and occasional beer here and there. So, what makes a bourbon? Is it made just in Kentucky? No, not at all. That's a misconception. Now, Kentuckians think the best bourbon is made there, and mostly, I gotta admit, they're probably right about that. No, what makes bourbon is it's a distilled whiskey with at least 51% corn. It has to be aged in brand new, charred oak barrels, and it has to be bottled at no less than 80 proof. That means 40% of the liquid in here is pure alcohol. Now, the other question I get a lot of times is, how do you drink bourbon? Well, first off, you don't drink too much of it. Some of us ignore that from time to time. However, a standard serving of an 80% or higher alcohol is 1.5 ounces. Now, the next question I'll get about bourbon a lot is, do you add ice or water? If you want a little chill to it, add some ice. There's also these little rocks you can freeze that'll add a little chill without watering your bourbon down. Now, especially if I'm drinking a bourbon new to me, I want to take a little sip before I add anything to it, just to get a little bit of a character of what's in the glass. You know, it's like when you first take up with a new lover. You don't want to get too adventurous in the boudoir right out the gate, right? You want to get a feel for them. Same thing with bourbon. Get a nice little burn there. Now, what freaky stuff will this bourbon let me do? Now, if it's a little rough around the edges, you don't want to chill it down too much because sometimes too much of a chill, you won't be able to taste the bourbon properly. Add just a splash of water. Swirl it around. It'll take a little bit of the edge off, especially if you have a newer or higher proof bottle in there. Now, you want to add an ice cube? Go ahead. I'm going to add one. And if I add an ice cube, a lot of times I'll go ahead and make myself a double, but I'm keeping up with how much I'm drinking, usually, so I don't get too far ahead of myself, and I suggest the same. Now, what is a good pairing for bourbon? All right, a lot of the sweet treats you're going to have around the holidays, candied pecans, pecan pie, a lot of cookies. Perfect with that. You get that sweet on sweet, but you get the bite of the bourbon. Really, really delicious. I prefer just sitting around the fire with friends, sipping slowly on bourbon, which doesn't usually happen because my friends and, yeah, okay, me too. We tend to drink this stuff a little more quickly than we should on occasion, but we're having a good time with good friends, recounting stories of Christmases past and singing carols around the fire. So, you know, sometimes you lose track of what's in your glass. All right, thanks for joining me for day 3 of the 2017 CorkEnvy Adult Advent Calendar. Tune in tomorrow and we'll see what's behind door number 4. Until then, Merry Holidays. Be happy, be safe, be kind. Stop coveting, start drinking. I don't know, I'll come up with something cool to say again. Maybe I'll say the same thing at the end of every one pretty soon. Cheers, friends.